Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Hopefully we are live right now, and I'm glad that you all made it because this is going to be enough. We've had enough. Enough is enough. Can you hear me okay? I see a bunch of you already in the live chat. I'm grateful for you being here. Hello there, Elaine. Hello there, everyone. There's a lot that we have to go over today. That's right. The meatball is here. This is not going to be the most fun show, but it's going to be a good one. And Frederick says that I am loud and clear. Mark's telling me, hey, yo. Billy says loud and clear. So I'm going to transition over and I'm going to say, what's up? Hello. I have a show that I'm working on right now. I've been editing it. It's a really good show. But I had to hold off on that one for today. Today, there is I don't even know where to begin on this. I have to find a clever way of doing this, of course, because it's a very touchy subject. Because things are really hard in the world right now, and people are very upset. And they have every reason to be. A lot of terrible things have gone on. But I feel like maybe perhaps God has warned us about all of this. I could be wrong. I don't know. On the channel, I've been talking a lot about a story that's found in the book of 2 Kings. It's about two bears that come down and they maul about 42 children. Kill them. Scary. A lot of this has been weighing on me the last day or two because when I come on here, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't know what I'm doing. You know, the joke is I'm the meatball. But yet, this morning when I was at the gym, I felt like a little bit ashamed because perhaps loud and clear God was speaking and I didn't put two and two together. What do I know? What do I know? I'm lucky that I can figure this out. Come on here to you. I don't even know how to use music. I use my little speaker. I do the best that I can. The world is a scary place for so many people, but I'm hoping that by the end of this show, you'll have some encouragement and you'll feel like it's okay. I wish I could say that I thought things were going to get a lot better. Eventually, I think they will, but I'm worried that people are going to lose their faith, and I'm worried that people are going to lose their trust that there is a rainbow at the end of this yellow brick road that we've been on and talking about for a long time. I've been talking about this story in the book of 2 Kings about a prophet named Elisha, who in the book of 2 Kings, what happens is he's sent to Jericho. The waters were so polluted and so terrible that people were dying, and there was infertility. Infertility was a big deal. They were worried that the population is not going to increase, like Elon Musk's tweets about Italy, about Japan. The waters in Jericho, they were corrupted. They were sour. So they asked the prophet to come and help with the water. So he put salt in it. Salt is very symbolic. Salt You remember Lot's wife. She turned into a pillar of salt. Salt is a preservative. It preserves you. It's very bland. So he cures the water. And if you've been on the show long enough, if you haven't been and you're new, because people have shared this channel, people have shared this video, because of how incredibly prophetic this all is, and how perhaps God has been speaking loudly and clearly and we haven't been listening, then welcome. I'm Jacob. I'm just a guy who loves God and wants to do the right thing, wants to share the right thing, and that's why I'm here today. On the show, I've been talking a lot lately about a trident, the fleur-de-lis, a bumblebee, honey, the land that was flowing in milk and honey, and there's not a lot of milk, the shortage that we've seen in the baby formula. We've talked about this on the show. It's very symbolic. But about, I don't know, a month or so ago, I talked about, let me pull this up so you can see. I'm going to transition over and I'm going to walk you through this because this is going to be one of those shows. Hopefully you couldn't hear. Hopefully you hear everything okay. So about a month or so ago, there was this lead sarcophagus that was discovered. Lead-covered sarcophagus. And on this show, you'll see I'm highlighting it right now. I talked about how it was like Pandora's box, and there was a prophecy that was in one of the books in the Holy, I think it's Zechariah. I'm not sure at this point. I didn't look into it. Oh, Zechariah 5. I should just look at the thumbnail. So it was in Zechariah 5. And all of the wickedness in the world and all the heartache and all the pain and everything was put into this box called Pandora's box. Talked about it on the show. They discovered this sarcophagus, and I said, bringing up Zechariah 5 in the scriptures, which talks about how terrible things are about to be unleashed on the land. I said, God, I hope not. And this show was kind of like the beginning of me saying, hey, it's going to be pretty quick, you know? Did another show called Uranus being probed, Uranus, which we found out was heaven. Just the beginning of the sorrows. Good grief, on this show, I've talked about so many things. But this right here, which, man, did I miss this. Man, did I miss this. In this show, I compared the leaders that are in the land to bears. I talked about how the leaders are like wicked rulers and they're like bears, and how ruin and terrible things were going to happen. There's this story in the book of 2 Kings where, because they called the prophet Baldy, of course, on the show, once again, if you're new to the show, I've talked about baldness. I've even considered shaving my head, even today, shaving my head and my beard. I know it seems goofy, but it's very symbolic because of the awards. And remember Chris Rock and Will Smith. He called out the joke about her being bald, G.I. Jane, and got smacked. And we talked about a great judgment that was coming because of it. And by we, I mean me, because I was just speculating. I'm just looking at it from a spiritual perspective. Somehow, along the way, I end up with this story about Elisha. I feel like it's important. I feel like we need to talk about it. Because there's a show that I'm watching called Outer Range on Amazon Prime. And that show has something to do with Elisha and these bears. who maul a bunch of children. So I'm going to check the chat, make sure everything's still going okay. Tell me if you can hear me all right. Please let me go. Some people are saying, get on with it because I'm not being quick enough. I know. I apologize for that. Outer Range is a show that I really liked. It's on Prime. Outer Range, where you see this pit opening up, which has to do with time travel and everything else, featured bears and Elisha and buffalo. Buffalo. I did a whole show about this. In Outer Range, the symbolism of bears was in episode 5 and 6. Bears play a significant role. In the prayer group, Cecilia Circle dissects the story of the bald prophet, 42 kids and a bear. The story from 2 Kings is often used as a cautionary tale to young children about respecting one's elders. But really, it's about the fact that everybody's given up on God. Everybody mocks anybody who even believes in God. God doesn't matter. Hey, Baldy. That's what the children said. And because of it, the prophet calls this curse. These 2 she-bears come down and they destroy these children. 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 Horrible. Because I really hope that this doesn't have anything to do with what just happened. But also in the show, it talked about the buffalo. And there were 2 arrows in this buffalo. Very strange. Elisha and the prophets, I talk about it on the show. And then there's the buffalo. And then we hear about buffalo. I get why a lot of people are so upset. I get it. I had no clue. I knew things. Sometimes I come on here and I say things and I don't want to say them. Because I don't know if they're true. I don't know if anything's going to happen. I don't want it to happen. So this is the story of Elisha. Let me read this to you. Talked about the waters being healed. So basically symbolic of, the people. The water is the doctrine. We're baptized in the water of the word, the truth of God. The water was corrupted, so Elisha comes forward to heal the waters. The waters are healed. And then on his way back to Bethel, which of course is very personal to me because Bethel is in my story. The entire novel takes place in the town of Bethel. I didn't know this at the time. Bethel in the scriptures is where Jacob speaks to God for the first time. Bethel means the house of God. It's a very important thing. So if a prophet is going up to Bethel, it's going up to going to see the Lord, going to see God. And if he's on his way, people come along the way to stop that. Well, Elisha in his day brought a curse. And Elisha went up from thence unto Bethel, and as he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city, and they mocked him. And they said to him, "Go up, you bald head. Go up, you bald head." And he turned and he looked at them. And he cursed them in the name of the Lord. And he said, and there came forth 2 she-bears out of the wood and mauled, destroyed, tore, killed 42 children of them. So I do this show about the bears. Let me see if I can pull this up. Talk about a bear coming, the two bears coming. The bears. Which at the time, I don't think anything about the children. God forbid. Pandora's box has been opened, if you will. Something that sometimes I get kind of caught up in a moment. I pray and I start to think, and then I'll tweet something kooky, because I see a bunch of posts about a bear. So on May 2nd, I write, the bear is at the door. Buckle up. A wicked ruler is as a bear to the Lord. As a bear, a roaring bear to the people. Just so you know, that's what it comes as. The nations of the world are about to be faced with a huge crisis. A bear is about to devour this wicked system. Call me bald again. Elisha talking to the children, calling the bears onto the children. That's just didn't really hit me until I was thinking about it today. So it gets a lot weirder from there. And ironically, I'm not even talking about how horrible this is, because it really has to do with the fact that the world has gotten so ugly that video games are so disturbing. It's almost like people are being brainwashed to hate. Okay, so we talked about on the show a lot the Trident. You got the Bumblebee right there on the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial. That Bumblebee is, believe it or not, connected to the fleur-de-lis, connected to the Trident that I've been talking about, not even knowing why. Connected to honey. Connected to honey. Let me pull this up right here. The fleur-de-lis and the bee. Okay. I have to point this out because this is why I'm doing this live stream right now, because I've been talking about the fleur-de-lis and the Trident. I've been talking about the Bumblebee. I even put a tweet out. Let me see if I can pull this up, where I talked about the milk and honey that is in the land. Let me see if I can find that. Here we go. On May 18th, I said, this land is not yet flowing with milk and honey, but believe me, it's on its way. Praise God. Honey, very significant. Very significant. It's not lost on me that this place is known as the honey capital of the world. I got an email from somebody, doesn't even want to say who they are. They point this out to me. They say, oh, it's the honey capital of the world, and their logo is the bumblebee. It's very strange. So I do a little research, a little digging, where this horrible tragedy is taking place. This charming Texas town is the honey capital of the world. Honey. Honey and bears. Suzanne C. on Twitter actually pointed out, great show. You see, all of this ties together to get me to do this. And oh my God, I hope that we as a world come together to do better, to bring God into the center of our lives, to love. I have a question. The iris in your show, because of course, I didn't know. I was talking about the trident. I was talking about the fleur-de-lis. I was talking about the bumblebee. And then I realized, oh my goodness, it's the iris. That's the fleur-de-lis. And it's Jacob's sword when he on his deathbed. Jacob's sword, which is his words. But also that fleur-de-lis, that trident, is known as a judgment. The trident, the Trishula, in I believe it's the Hindu faith, because of course that god always has the trident with it. Those three prongs get rid of man's ego, basically. So you see the trident, it's very symbolic of God humbling people and pulling them away from their carnal ways. So when Suzanne C. wrote, I have a question, the iris, is it connected to the trident? That was connected to the trident. And the bee, would that not be connected to honey? Is that connected to honey? The judgment. Flowers produce pollen where bees feed and they produce honey. So Jacob's sword, word, brings honey. And I say, wow. So let me just read you this from Google. Honey from these hives, they're well known across the country. And this place that is hurting right now was known as the honey capital. The first football team was the Honey Bees. And we still play football in the Honey Bowl. Land may not be flowing with milk and honey now. So I then this morning decide, I'm like, all right, well, if I'm really meant to do this, show me a little bit more. And I do a little search. I'm like, and then I find out about this disgusting movie. This right here. Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh is a bear. Winnie the Pooh, blood and honey. Noah talked to me about this when it first happened. He was devastated. And he told me about the fact that this guy was connected to this horrible video game. I think the name of it's Hatred. And this is the way the world has become. And this is what the problem is. Because even Winnie the Pooh, what's wrong with me today? I apologize. I don't know what my problem is today. I think I'm a little nervous about doing this show. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, May 26th. That's today's news. What the hell is going on? So this is this was my thumbnail, which hopefully I got to find clever ways to do these things. Because ultimately my goal really is to get people to return to God. My goal is to get people to love. This is a still from Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. So what happened was this film became possible because Pooh and Piglet fell into public domain 2022. So this is the classic tale of the bear and the honey, the blood and the honey. The honey, the honey. It's not yet flowing with milk and honey. The honey capital of the world. Blood and Honey. This is a new movie that's coming out. A home invasion movie about serial killers that used to have to do with innocence and wonderful things. I don't even know what to say. Bears, honey, and like today's news is all about the bear and the honey, the blood and the honey from the honey capital of the world. All right, my next show is going to be a lot more fun. I'm not going to continue talking. I'm going to leave now. I love you all. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, do what you